Experts say this land is probably the best preserved archaeological site in all of Central Asia. Mes Aynak is located about 25 miles from Afghanistan's capital and is home to thousands of relics. Some date back to the 1600s. The priceless pottery statues give clues about the mountain's first residents, a group of 2nd century monks. Their treasures were discovered in 1970, but the mass removal of those items did not start until 2010, and experts say it will take 20 years to finish the project, but time is running out. Callebs joins us now live from Kabul with more. Sean?
Well, Phil, it's a very complex story because Afghanistan is going to need outside investment, jobs, if it's ever going to stand on its own 2 feet. It cannot depend on foreign aid forever. There is a golden opportunity to make a mint in the copper industry here, but as you mentioned, the past is colliding with the present.
What lies amid ancient archaeological ruins from an old Buddhist city along Silk Road may be the key to Afghanistan's future. This site is called Mes Aynak. It literally means Copper Mountain.
As you can see, some green stone with copper.
Antiquities that date back centuries are side by side one of the richest copper deposits on the face of the earth. Money a cash-strapped nation dearly needs.
The same thing that brought nomadic people from Asia across these mountains close to 2,000 years ago is also what's attracting a Chinese mining company now. Copper and lots of it. This chunk of stone is almost pure copper. Who knows how much is beneath the ground here? But people do know what this site could mean in terms of jobs. Perhaps as 7,000 directly related to mining and as many as 13,000 indirectly related.
The Metallurgical Corporation of China, or MCC, a Chinese mining company, beat out other competitors and is paying $3.5 billion for mining rights. But like seemingly everything else in this nation, the situation is complex and not without serious setbacks.
Very typical construction in the corners.
Excavation of antiquities moves forward.
Is that a foot? A giant foot?
Yeah. This is fragment of reclining Buddha Mahaparinirvana, lying.
And to date, there has been no mining. The price of copper, as well as security within Afghanistan, has plunged over the last few years. Afghan leaders say MCC wants to renegotiate a more favorable deal.
The Afghan government has to open its eyes, and see that we have this potential and we can turn it into something that would stabilize the country, diversify the economy, employ a lot of people.
More than 1,700 Afghan police patrol the perimeter, chiefly to protect the Chinese employees. But right now, the MCC worksite is void of people. All have left to escape the violence that plagued the presidential election. China's ambassador to Afghanistan says security is a big obstacle, but
I think Chinese company and Afghan government concern can settle it through friendly discussion, negotiation.
There is a great deal at stake. Afghanistan depends on other countries to fund 90% of its operating budget. The massive windfall for mineral rights could send a strong message abroad, and perhaps more importantly, to Afghans.
The people of Afghanistan will have work opportunities and their living standards will improve. And it will have a positive effect on the country's budget.
Under the agreement between Afghanistan and MCC, the company is supposed to build roads, a factory, even a rail line to export copper. But just look at the mountainside, crews still doing the dangerous work of removing landmines. Just one indication of how brittle the security situation remains, and how difficult it will be to bring peace and prosperity here.
And once the mining starts, it is going to have a big impact on the land. They will basically grind that giant mountain that we showed you almost down to nothing. And as far as the communities in the area, a lot of them will be relocated, but it will mean jobs. And Phil, to give you an idea of just how rich this site is, I brought this one rock back, and people from the Ministry of Mines tell me these two green lines are just veins of pure copper. This rock is really quite heavy, quite dense, but it is just an inkling of what is lying out there. But until this country gets secure, all the other discussion is just atmospheric.
Sean, that is an amazing challenge, man. At one hand, you're trying to save artifacts that are 1,600 years old, and on the other hand, you're trying to develop a modern mine town, basically. How does the foreign investment, specifically from China, affect the overall plan?
Well, it's going to be huge. It's $3.5 billion for 30 years of mining rights. And what it is, it's the first company to basically stick its toe in the water here in Afghanistan. We know an Indian corporation is also going to invest billions. And if they can begin to show positive benefits from this, it could really have a huge ripple effect. And it wasn't just a Chinese company that was interested in mining. 9 companies bid for it. MCC ended up winning out. So there's tremendous interest. The U.S. estimates $3 trillion, that's with a T, trillion dollars worth of minerals beneath the ground here. If the fighting could stop and people could get to those, just think of what this country could be.
And it's not just the mines, right? If you get investments in the mines, you also get investments, everything outside of the mines for the infrastructure, too.
Exactly. You can just run down the list. There is gold here, there is chromite, there is silver, there is lead, there is oil, and everybody wants to get access to this. Basically, it is an area that has simply been untapped or the surface scratched, literally. So it's really an area that could be very rich, and I know that the Afghan leaders are really trying to get people interested to invest in this, but it is going slowly.
Sean and Callebs, it's very early in the morning there in Kabul. Thank you.